Hello, this is Goat. The 15-day tennis marathon of this year's final Grand Slam has come to an end. While the men's draw produced somewhat predictable results, the women's draw delivered unpredictable outcomes, creating a stark contrast between the two. Let's explore what specifically happened throughout this tournament in this video. Just like last year, these two players split the 4 Grand Slam titles between them this year. What's particularly noteworthy about this year is that these two players faced each other in the finals for 3 consecutive tournaments: Roland Garros, Wimbledon, and the US Open. I believe this dominance by these two will continue for some time. There are variables, though. Just as Djokovic disrupted the Federer-Nadal balance, another big name could emerge to challenge them. However, currently, I don't see any clear contender. Rather, I think injuries could be the game changer. The arm injury at Wimbledon, the withdrawal in Cincinnati, and the abdominal issues during the US Open semifinals are not good signs. The fact that these issues occur in almost every tournament is somewhat concerning, and I cautiously wonder if this could create cracks in the Big Two system. What personally disappoints me is that the reason I always enjoyed watching these two players compete is now disappearing. There were never one-sided victories in their head-to-head matches. They always exchanged blows, delivering unpredictable matches that kept us on edge until the very end. However, from Wimbledon to this US Open, we've seen rather bland matches that have stripped away this excitement. If this pattern continues, I think tennis will become really boring for a while. Who would enjoy watching the Big Two dominate only to deliver lackluster finals? I sincerely hope all my concerns prove to be unfounded. Sabalenka finally captures her Grand Slam title this year after 3 attempts. With this title, she achieves the US Open back-to-back victory, which seemed significantly less likely compared to Sinner. This is the first consecutive US Open victory in about 11 years since Serena Williams' three-peat from 2012 to 14. I thought her journey would end in the round of 16. I expected a difficult match because I thought the giant killer Towson would be waiting on the opposite side of the draw. However, when Towson was eliminated in the first round, Sabalenka cruised very comfortably to the round of 16. Another hurdle was the quarterfinals. She would face a tricky opponent, whether Rybakina or Vondrousova advanced. Vondrousova, who defeated Rybakina to reach the quarterfinals, withdrew due to a leg injury sustained during practice, giving Sabalenka a free pass to the semifinals. In the semifinals, she faced Pegula, against whom she holds an overwhelming head-to-head advantage. After easily dispatching her, she advanced to the finals. In the final, she secured victory in the head-to-head matchup, characterized by final jitters, and claimed the championship. I already thought Sabalenka would be number 1 this year, but I wondered how embarrassing it would look if she reached 3 Grand Slam finals without winning a single title. She overcame that challenge and truly became the rightful number 1. While Anisimova and Osaka showed their contender credentials, FAA's appearance was somewhat unexpected. He defeated Zverev, Rublev, and de Minaur to reach his first US Open semifinal in 4 years. While his victories over Zverev and Rublev with excellent gameplay were surprising, his quarterfinal win was even more impressive as he secured victory even when his game wasn't at its best. I hope this result becomes a catalyst for his return to the top tier. Osaka had already shown signs of revival with her Montreal final appearance. She then defeated Gauff and Muchova to reach the semifinals. While she was technically top tier, her inability to get over the line in crucial moments was frustrating. These aspects have clearly improved. The coaching change seems to be paying dividends. If she addresses the fitness issues revealed in matches against Muchova and Anisimova, I'm confident she'll become an indispensable name among hard-court contenders. Does Anisimova need special mention? Her performances in defeating Swiatek and Osaka alone proved her capabilities. Despite the potential burden from her first Grand Slam final ending in a double bagel, she overcame it well and delivered final-worthy gameplay. I'd like to applaud her for that. I hope she develops her ability to hold serve better and achieves good results in the next Grand Slam. This tournament seemed to have very few matches that carried over to the next day. There are several reasons for this. The tournament started 1 day earlier than other events, running for 15 days. Mixed doubles was moved up a week and held as a special event, and there were almost no rain delays. The point I'd like to highlight is the increase in 3-0 matches. While 5-set matches were at average levels with some variation, 3-0 matches increased dramatically. The 46 3-set matches at the Australian Open that went to the finals increased to 62 at the US Open. It was difficult to pinpoint the exact cause. However, like the Big Two's dominance, I wondered if gaps are emerging between the groups that play well and those that don't. The high occurrence of 3-0 or 3-2 matches in specific rounds might be influenced by rankings and draw luck, but fundamentally, I think class distinctions are beginning to form. I won't discuss what impact this phenomenon might have on tennis's future. Every phenomenon has pros and cons, and perspectives will vary depending on how the public receives it. I think we need to watch whether this phenomenon will continue or become entrenched. The women's draw showed a completely different tournament dynamic from the men's. While Sabalenka has shown dominant form this year, does she appear to be on a different level from other players like Sinner and Alcaraz? I don't see it that way at all. The women's draw truly embodies the meaning of open to anyone. Based on the 4 Grand Slams quarterfinal appearances this year, only Sabalenka and Swiatek have been consistent. But are these two players overwhelming? I don't think so. While I believe the top 10 level has declined compared to the past, they remain contenders who can always challenge for the top spot. The women's field includes Gauff, Andreeva, Anisimova, Rybakina, Zheng, Badosa, Osaka, and others, any of whom winning wouldn't be surprising. Moreover, these players must break through challenges from lower-ranked players to compete for titles, making the competition fiercer than ever. So I'm curious, which do you find more entertaining, the men's tournaments dominated by absolute powerhouses, or the truly open women's tournaments, where opportunities exist for everyone? Based on this tournament, I found the women's draw much more entertaining. There were more unpredictable matches than obvious ones, and consequently, many more intense contests. Looking purely at prediction statistics, I think this was my best tournament. It's even more satisfying because the averages for both men's and women's draws came out similarly without bias toward either. One disappointing aspect is that despite many obvious matches in the men's draw, I didn't achieve better results. One consolation is that the women's draw results were better than expected, despite many fierce battles. The first-round match between Medvedev and Bonzi. During Bonzi's match point on his second serve, a photographer entered the court. The umpire ruled this as interference beyond the player's control and required play to restart from the first serve, causing about a 7-minute interruption. The umpire judged according to regulations, and I believe that judgment was correct. However, since the first serve had already failed and the second serve hadn't even begun its motion, considering this as one play and giving a first serve due to play interference seems unreasonable. Also, if the umpire or Bonzi had handled this more flexibly, the match might have concluded more cleanly. The second-round match between Ostapenko and Townsend. After the match, Ostapenko made unnecessary comments to Townsend, leading to accusations of racial discrimination. She mentioned Townsend's failure to apologize for a net court winner, while using terms like no class and no education, which escalated the issue to racial discrimination allegations. I think extending this incident to racial discrimination went too far. Ostapenko clearly expressed anger about her defeat through her words. Those comments were directed at her opponent, not intended as racial discrimination, using words like education and class. Perhaps this incident taught her that such remarks can lead to such controversies. The second-round match between Majak and Khachanov. During fan service after the match, Majak gave his hat to a young boy, but an adult stole it and put it in his bag. This person, a Polish company CEO, responded to the issue by saying, quote, "Life is first come, first served," causing enormous public outrage. Eventually, the problematic person faced appropriate consequences at his company, and the boy who lost the hat received another memorable experience, when Majak, having heard about the incident, found him to give him a hat and take photos together. I'm embarrassed for all of us. Please, if you're an adult, act like one. Trump's attendance at the US Open caused various disruptions. While there were broadcast censorship issues, what angered me most was the delay in the match's scheduled time. His attendance led to enhanced security screening for spectators, causing entry delays. As a result, the final was held about 30 minutes later than scheduled. What more is there to say? Trump being Trump, I suppose. He acknowledged that pursuing another Grand Slam title would be difficult. From a physical standpoint, he expressed that 3-set matches are more manageable than 5-set battles. However, he avoided giving a definitive answer about how long he'll continue his playing career. Still, he remains a great player, making the semifinals of all 4 Grand Slams at age 38. Personally, given that additional Grand Slam titles seem difficult, I wonder whether Djokovic will continue his playing career. Excluding the big two, Djokovic still has top-tier competitiveness, but I'm not sure if that's enough motivation to continue his career. I'd love to see more, but perhaps it's time to let him go. Since this is a belated review, I tried to fill it with richer content. How did you find it? Tennis will conclude the season through the Asian hardcourt season and indoor hardcourt season. With Draper declaring his season over due to an arm injury, the men's current top 8 rankings will likely make the finals. In women's tennis, there will be a ranking competition between Rybakina and Paolini, but based on current trends, I'd favor Rybakina. However, nothing ever goes according to predictions. I hope we can all watch together to see how the final conclusion unfolds. Thank you for watching this long video.